You're listening to Shiloh of the South podcast, brought to you by Food City, fresh, local, and full of flavor. From certified Angus beef and locally grown produce to fresh sushi, wings, and Dietz and Watson deli meats, Food City has it all, ready to go. Enjoy curbside pickup, full-service floral, and pharmacies that accept thousands of insurance plans and benefit cards. Earn fuel bucks and save at any Gas and Go fuel center, because nobody does food like Food City. Find your nearest store at foodcity.com. The Shiloh of the South podcast starts now. There were ghosts everywhere. That's what I kept thinking while standing on Shiloh battlefield. Ghosts. You could feel them. You could almost hear their fraternal laughter. You could smell their gunpowder. You see, a ghost is merely a soul who doesn't want to be forgotten. And beneath our feet at Shiloh National Military Park, beneath 163 years of gravel and grit, there were tens of thousands of forgotten souls. They were long-forgotten boys in uniforms, men who had families once, who never saw their wives again, who never more kissed their mothers again, or shook hands with their old men, or bounced babies on their laps. They were just children, really. Boys who once engaged in a great civil war, testing whether their nation, or any nation conceived and so dedicated, could long endure, fighting for something they believed in. My friend Bobby and I were playing music for a funeral directly on the battlefield. The funeral was held for the former National Park Superintendent, Woody Harrell. Woody was the man who made the Shiloh Park great, a man who dedicated his life to preserving the sacred ground of the oft-forgotten. A man who was recognized once on the floor of the U.S. Senate for his work here. There were park rangers galore attending the service. It looked like a ranger convention. Stetsons everywhere. I met one ranger who looked like Teddy Roosevelt. He wore a table-flat brimmed hat and green suit pressed sharply enough to slice potatoes. "McDougal's brigade would have been fighting on that spot where we stand," he said. "Would have been one heck of a fight on this ground, too." We weren't all that far from Bloody Pond, a country pond where dying and wounded soldiers sought water during the battle. Wounded men would have crawled on their bellies toward the water. The pond became a hub of death. The remains of young men lay in the shallows, eyes still open, staring at the heavens, shot and dying. Thirsty horses had collapsed and died in that water. So many men and horses drank from the pond that within hours, the water was blood red. Almost 24,000 casualties on this battlefield, a ranger tells me. And all these men, all they wanted was just to be remembered. Bobby and I played their music in memory of Woody. The music that belonged to these soldiers, the same hymns these men once sang during boyhood, songs that once filled their little chapels back home in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, New York, Illinois, Kentucky, or New Hampshire. I played fiddle for Come Thou Fount and How Firm a Foundation, and as I bowed the strings, I was startled by something I saw. I almost dropped my fiddle. I was so startled. It was in the middle distance. There, beneath the trees, stood a small brigade of uniformed soldiers from a bygone era. They were Federals and Confederates, standing shoulder to shoulder, in peace, bearing arms, bearing the flag. They looked tired and ragged, unshaven and gaunt, but young and eternally frozen in youth. I could see them clear as glass, erect, motionless, and at attention. I thought maybe I must be hallucinating. I nudged a park ranger and I whispered, Can you see those soldiers?" The ranger nodded. "Anyone can see them, but few will."
Well, thanks for listening to Sean of the South. I've been your host today, Sean Dietrich, and it has been a true privilege. To find out anything more about what I do, you can visit SeanDietrich.com, or for those who are not particularly good spellers, you can visit SeanoftheSouth.com, and there you can find out all sorts of information that you didn't know you didn't need to know about me. And while you're there, I hope you take the time to drop me a line. Tell me what's important to you. Tell me what's going on in your life. I'd like to hear it. And in case anyone hadn't told you today already, I love you. Now go say that to somebody else. Have a great day.